I always tell people that my training was actually more in my township, in my logish. Because now as a business person, as who I am, I apply everything that I learned at Kasi. But the reality and the truth is, mina bengumuntu quiet. Was it hard? Actually, they were calling me Ting Ting.
Yeah, what was your question name?
That was my name. Our music has taken a knock. Actually, we've dropped 80% from what you used to make.
Wow.
Let me make an example.
Yes.
On a CD, on a DVD, we'll make between 50 to 70 rand per each CD.
Yes.
Now, with this direction here, we get 1.07 cents. A mistake that is happening now, musicians are trying to be business people. That's why then things fall down. Let's use this day as a day to revive, a day to restore, a day for rebirth, where he died for us, where he died not just for our sins, but for our souls, for us as people, to do an introspection and look at yourself and say, what do I have? What do I carry? How can I take that forth?
Botani, this is the Sheds podcast where we're shedding light on issues through fascinating conversations. We bring you people who matter in life. People when they say things, it's things that matter.
Yes.
People who built this country.
Yeah.
Have you ever sung, Mshikas?
I've tried in my high school.
Have you ever conducted?
But my voice was not that great.
So you were that one who chased away by a conductor?
Yeah, I loved music, but I couldn't sing, unfortunately.
So you love listening to it. Today we're bringing you a fascinating music contributor, a well-respected across the globe, a person who's a producer, a composer, a conductor, an award winner, a conductor and a founding member of a prestigious gospel group, Joy Celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, help me bring together Dr. Lindelani Mkhize. Monotat. Siyaphila, Kabazela.
Welcome, Tata. Great, Tata.
Welcome to the set, man. Siyavuya ukuba now.
Oh, is that where I'm at?
Definitely, yeah. You are at the Sheds podcast. Yeah, we're shedding light on issues. Want to shed light on yourself, on your contribution, on celebration and things like that. You know, I asked Gosana, is there anybody who's taller than you in Joyous?
No.
Whatever you are.
So you don't have a competition?
Yeah, my space.
Yeah, with space. No, that's good, man.
Yeah.
There's that question that you like asking so much.
Yeah. Quickly. I mean, we normally want to know the history behind the man, behind our guest, Gogo Sheds podcast. Tell us in a nutshell, Dr. Mkhize, where did you grow up? How were you like as a child? Were you a troublesome child?
I must say, the minute you guys started talking Joyous, I was like, these are young people. They don't know me. Because people who know me, Joyous is kind of the last thing that they do. Because they know me for other things. I've been involved in the music business close to 30 to 35 years.
Wow, that seems like a lifetime.
Or someone else, I'm sure.
Joy Celebration is actually a new baby to me.
Okay.
My history is way too long, so I won't start way back. Yes, but I'm originally from Durban, Elokishini, Mlazi.
Oh, okay.
And I always tell people that my training was actually more in my township, in my logish. Because now as a business person, as who I am, I apply everything that I learned at Kasi.
Okay.
More than anything, you'll be surprised. I'm a chairperson of a business, but I sit with academic people who are professors, who've got masters, and with my township mentality. Because if you're able to strive, if you're able to maneuver your way in a township and grow to be something in life, it says, there's this thing where pet. So I mix the two, academia and the township life. So when opportunities of music is vela, I started working with Chico Twala or Chico music. When early days when Chico was producing our brand, I was working with him.
Wow,
behind the scenes of that.
Okay.
And that's why I always say, and then I got an opportunity to work for record labels then who saw something in me. When I got that opportunity, I then started introducing. I was among the people who introduced the sound that is called Kwaito today.
Wow.
For the past 20 years.
20 years, wow.
And I was very influential in that. I signed musicians like Abo Mtu, Tiki Yo.
Wow.
I signed artists like Abo Johnny Nawe, Baby, So that's where I come from.
Okay.
From there, I then got also an opportunity to start a label, and a record label that was not available in South Africa. After I'd spoken and talked to them, guys, there's an opportunity in South Africa. There is a gap here. We want to introduce South African music. We need a company that is international, but will support South African music and try and pull and push it. I got an opportunity to start and run Isoni in South Africa.
Wow. Before we get to that serious stuff, sorry, Doctor, I want to. We're still on even your childhood. I want to talk about. We want to talk about your mother, the contribution the mother had in paving you. You said your mother insisted that you join the choir, the church choir.
Oh, you know.
Do you think somehow? Yeah. Do you think somehow? It doesn't matter.
You've done your research.
Do you think that
I was raised by a single mom,
Yeah.
and true, I was benkangile being stoked every step of the way, even namanje. So pushes into so being stoked, and then because my mom was a single parent, there was no one to take care of me as a child.
Wow.
At home, bega hamba, bega conduct choirs and kunzwi, assemblies of God. Ngomzambo like nang strong jalo suzon.
Yes.
Mzambo. Oh yes, that's an early age. So bega yenkonzwi na yokurehearse ne choir. Bengishala laphana. Now because bengihleli phansi ngidanga ngibanga umsindo kwethu bisberehearse. Ugcina thavena kwasa imali echoir khona ngizokubona so ngaqala kanjani echoir. Ngama and wangimisa phambili because bengimntwana ngishort. Kula phambili ngebinabosisi lapha. Yeah. So little did I know that I'm actually watching and learning.
Wow.
There is a style of music here, reading music called tonic sulfur. So I'm a choir. Yes. I'm a choir at that time. So as you say, and I was learning. She was imparting to me. So I was learning the art of conducting. I was learning the actual music, tonic sulfur stuff. At a young age, I was 5, 6, 7 around that time. So then how really the back came into me. It's a young, fantastic. Yeah.
You trace your background and your early contribution to music to Kwaito, internships and things like that, having worked with contributors in Kwaito music, and yet your early music life was at the choir. Was it deliberate? Did you say, you know what, when I'm in charge, I'm venturing into this space?
Now, that was the beauty, because now, as much as so as a young child, I was a bit rebellious at the time. This is too old for me. This is not for me. So when you go out, you start doing your own things. I mean, then growing up, lower primary schools, there was something called Cubs, Scouts. I'm a Boy Scout.
Yeah, Scouts.
So much.
Drums and everything.
And play drums, and so I started joining the Cubs because I'm a scout, because I wanted to do more where I was. And then from that time, that's when I started composing music. I started composing music for Rama Scout. Namanje, Rama Scout being where I started doing the songs that I composed. And then I'll start a song. You see how, when we are marching, we can march on a song.
Yes.
And the guys will respond. They'll say this, say that. And the guys will respond, and the march will go into another level. But and I was not aware that I'm actually creating,
and conducting,
which is now called directing.
Wow.
I was already directing music at that age, and little did I know, or was I aware what I was doing.
And your compositions at the time are still sung now. Now compositions of it, you are not getting any royalties, obviously.
Traditional.
Did you deliberately decided to move away from Kwaito and all your associations at Sony before you got into gospel? Because we'll talk about yourself, the joyous and everything, but was it a deliberate transition? Did you say, you know what, enough about Kato, let me now go back to my roots and venture and focus on the root, my mother?
Definitely, I'm actually happy you asked me that, because people are not sure. My Kwaito guys, what
happened?
Because
to you?
all those artists, Oskido, I'm the one who brought them into it.
Wow.
I started recording Oskido with somebody's at the peak or Amalpa, maybe Swens at the time. So now I'm still working with them. When they do something, they'll send to me, Mkhize, please listen to this, let's see the direction.
Wow.
So when I was at Sony, I have to go through this one. When I was at Sony, Sony, we were ahead of our time.
Okay.
Because we kept changing the direction. One thing that was driving me as Sony was South African music was not economic viable. So I wanted to change that. And how do we make South African music over to Daise, people about support and have more record shops work on? So I was really driven by that. So it was important that I go across all the genres of music. So I started with Kwaito. I worked on Kwaito, and proudly so, we made Kwaito big at that time. And then other genres were left off. Jazz was down there. Jazz was not selling in South Africa. I then started signing jazz musicians. The first jazz artist that I signed was Usbongile Khumalo. Usbongile, I'm proud of that.
It was a big house.
I co-produced that.
He sold rest in peace.
Oh yes.
Wow.
I produced Ujabo Kanyile Mano. And now that's why I keep saying, people who know me, those are the stories they would tell. When we were changing the face of South African music. Abu, you remember the song? Stop for the umbrella.
Yes.
Yes. Because I was trying to fill every area, every space. Mafigizolo was there, but Mafigizolo was quite a group. Nalando was kind of, let's change the sound. Now we need to introduce proper singing, Afro soul. We worked with Kwaito, with about Oskido, to change the sound of Mafigizolo to what it is now, which is Afro soul. Now, moving across the genres, we were now introducing Afro soul.
I've always heard that Mafigizolo took about 5 years to break into the music industry.
Yes, true.
What does that mean then? You were involved in the...
Yes, they were there before on those 3 years of Akurumangas. They were doing heavy Kwaito. When I started working with them, they were working with the company called CCP there. I brought them into Sony. That's when we changed their sound to Mlanjane and all of that. That's when Mafigizolo broke, when they were now more vocal, more very much soulful. That's when it started.
More musical.
And many relationships were born out of those songs.
People
got married. I'm sure there was one of your songs. When it went.
Because it worked on Mafigizolo, we decided to do the same with Bongo Muffin. We got to Tandiswa was a soloist. We got to Tandiswa to be part of Bongo Muffin. When about 30 school, now we're doing what we call Afro pop. Remember now we've started from Kwaito, we did jazz, we're now on Afro soul, and then we moved to Afro pop. When we were busy building Afro pop, then I started a group from scratch in Malaika as well. Malaika, I started that
from scratch.
I see your camera people are being Kanti was in the room. Those are all the things that I went on. Prahu was back in South Africa, back in exile, had recorded and released 2 albums that didn't do well. And I'm like, Prahu, Mina, I can change your vibe. Prahu was a kitty in Lindelani. That I've been researching.
Him to studio. It is a studio.
Prahu are great, and we went into studio. Ngalando Pratona 7 Zelendo. We decided to take the old songs. I said, let's make these songs more township, more now, more recent. Yes. So all those things I was involved. Oh yes. All those projects, all those artists. I was doing the A&R, I was doing the executive production. Amanya was co-producing and sitting with those artists. And that was the time when South African music was more commercialized. People started believing and buying South African music. We actually saw the ratio changing from South African music, it was on 30% sales, 70% was international. It's changed drastically. We moved to 55%, 65%. Right now, we're selling more South African music than international music.
In fact, that was my next question, Doctor, to say, I mean, you've been there. I mean, you are referred as one of the fathers of the entertainment industry, especially music in a country. And then how do you see the music? I mean, and you speak about music having a contribution to our GDP.
Yeah,
exactly. Let's talk about the business of music. Yeah. Where do you see it going now?
Before I answer that, let me finish the question. Yeah. You then asked me when then did the transition, when did I Now, after I'd worked on all these different genres and they were doing very well, they were flying, they were selling, I realized that on gospel, it was only one artist who was selling. Mamu, Dr. Sis Rebecca.
Oh,
that time, she was the only
sweeping,
gospel artist selling and doing so great, and we were so in awe of her. So much that every gospel recording artist, when they were recording, they will try and emulate, they will try and sound like her. Because the gospel then was sounding like Sis Rebecca. So for me, one, I saw a gap. One, I saw a business opportunity. Three, I saw an opportunity to now go back to my roots and revive this genre that I started on, this genre that I liked. So I started working with mostly session musicians that when we are recording all these different genres we were using as backing. That's how Family Factory was done.
Wow, cool.
These guys and ladies were session musicians. They were backing everyone, since Bongile, Kumasidela, or every artist who was recording, they will call Abo Vic, Abo Margaret to come, Abo Innocent to come there.
Hence Family Factory.
Hence, then I was like, guys, come, let's create your own thing now.
As a family.
Which was as a group, as a family, as a group of friends. That how Family Factory was created. And Family Factory came and it was big. Now I was like, there's still a gap in the gospel.
Yes.
And with that, I had done so much and I wanted to impart more while I wanted to go back. But and then I had this idea that why don't you land all these top and good church praise and
singers.
worship singers in the churches that are just singing in the church and but who are talented and no one will identify them. So we started identifying them. But the reality and the truth is Mina Bengu quiet. Was it hard? Actually, they were calling me Ting Ting.
What was your quieter name?
That was my quieter name. And in some of the quieter things, I would put my voice. Remember?
Wow,
that was my voice.
Been everywhere.
Yes. Most of Mashamplane's music, it was my voice. Those voices. Yes.
I wanted to answer Nkosana's question because I want to take it from just where you're bringing together the various church people.
Now, before I finish the story, let me respond to your question. Now, you'll notice that every step of the way, for me, it was not just creating and making music. It was based on where is the gap, what's the opportunity, and what can we create. So I was always driven by the business side of music. When I invited Sony to come to South Africa or to start Sony, it was because I was seeing a gap of business. I was seeing a gap that South African music, people don't buy it. They rather buy your Knowles, your Luther Vandross, or all those old R&B. R&B was big in South Africa.
But
Whitney Houston, exactly. So it was based on how do we turn our music around and make it revenue generation so that nathi sikwazi ukuphila ngayo. So every step of the way, every idea that I do, it's based on business. It's based on business because I believe that music is business. When I do master classes, that's what I talk about.
Wow.
Music is business. So even with Joyous, now it was not just an idea because I saw a gap. I was missing my gospel music, or I was feeling holy and spiritual. It was because I could see that Mama Rebecca is doing very well. Everyone is trying to do what Mama Rebecca is doing. If you can create something that won't be what Mama Rebecca is doing,
something different,
opposite of that, something very, very different, but at the same time empowering, giving back to the community, also helping these artists to be their artists on their own, and in return pushing this new fresh gospel sound.
Wow.
on the business side of things. But now come the tricky part. I was not a church person at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're quiet.
Yeah.
So I was,
Come from Kwaito anyway. Yeah.
Kwaito. So I had to think with how I work around this now. That when now I decided, oh man, khona la machitebeng beng sesedebe nebeng gcwele uspana now on the gospel space. Ngalanda uPastor Mthunzi Nyamba. Ngalanda uPastor Jabo Shongwane. Gents, inina one method.
Yeah.
Very sort of. In any lesser space, in Angikona. I have the concept, I have the idea. I will do the business side of it. Nina let us 7 and 9 so that sizongena ngani or nani mabandleni masontweni, all those kind of things. So that's how we basically just,
so you're more like a treasurer of the group, and when they were more
treasurer
or the most important, the jewel of the
convener.
Yes.
You can say that. You can say that. Yeah.
No,
I still am 27 years later.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to find out, how sort of got to be together. Now, this is which year? 94?
This was around 94, 95. Yeah.
And your first recording is in 1996.
The first recording was in 1996. It was a studio recording. And what we did, we invited some of there was, I wouldn't like to use the word struggling, but there were gospel musicians that were there, but we're not really made inroads. So we invited them in. I mixed them with all my top gospel artists at that time. I mixed them with all the top Kwaito artists. There was a lady called Sharon D who was big on, I don't know if you know the song, Local as Like It.
Yeah,
we remember those
huge.
Yeah.
I had worked on that project. And so, so I mixed all these people together to create and start a jazz celebration on the first recording, which was done in studio, But then I realized after realizing that, that gospel musicians, they are more greater performing in front of the audience because they feed from the audience. When the Spirit leads them, after feeding from the audience, they're able to grow the song. That's why then we decided from going forward, let's now record live. And by then, no one was recording live. We were the first ones to actually record a live album in the country. Yes. When the Joyous were the first people to record a live album and release a live album, that was on Joyous Celebration too.
Because this is fascinating.
It's very
Dr. Mkhize keeps answering questions I was going to ask
in your mind. Yeah,
I really was going to ask.
That's why I'm called a doctor.
No, definitely. But just a funny thing. There's an artist who once did a live recording, and that's the reason I wanted to ask from the studio to live. And they're still involved. And the entire show, because I think I once told this story. Yeah. The entire show, this is a known person. The entire show recording a live thing. And only find that the person was supposed to press record did not. What are the challenges of live recording? And has there been any catastrophic mistake,
an incident
that you suffered as a result of recording live? And what does it take to pull it together?
A lot of people like to say I'm a perfectionist because I believe in preparation. A lot goes through preparation when there is a live recording, but mostly a show.
Okay.
That's why we are proud as Jazz Celebration that we've changed the face of not just gospel music in this country, but holistically the music industry on making sure that when you are performing, you are ready for it. The setup, the stage, the design, the look, the lighting, the sound. When you go to a Jazz Celebration, I always say to people, first listen to your CD, to your audio. When you get to the show, we are even sounding better than it. Wow. But in most people, it's actually a bit like, oh no, it's nice, but it's not sounding like the CD. Tina, we take it even to beyond the CD. Why? Because of the preparation. The reason I said I'm busy hectic now, because I'm busy preparing for the shows that are happening. So a lot goes into preparation. Now, also, where before the actual show, make sure that you do what is called a dry run, so that every single individual knows and understands what is expected of them. You give them an opportunity to let's dry run that, let's repeat it, let's do it again. So now everyone knows. And also respecting and understanding that when we record, it's not just about the person who's leading the song. It's also about, and people now always ask me, what are you doing when we are on stage? Hence I was saying to you, it's directing.
Okay.
It's not just about people who are singing on stage. It's about that lead singer, yes. It's about the backing, the backing musicians, the vocalist. It's about the band that is playing with them, who's the main person within that band, who the drummer who's making sure that the rhythm, because the drummer holds the rhythm of the music. It's about the person who's controlling the light. People don't know that the lighting on the show, it works on the mood of the person. What they do when it's red and so bright because they want people to be excited, when they drop it and it's dim and it's a blue or purple lower color, it works on the emotions of the people when they're seeing what is on the screen. So when Lindelani, I don't know if you've noticed that I always have a mic when I'm conducting.
Yes.
Now, while my hands are directing the singers, they know what your left does, they know what your right is talking to. So on one left, I'm talking to some people on the stage. Go right, I'm talking to with mostly the band, but also I'm able to talk to the main, the band leader who's on keys, the drummer, who everyone on stage can hear me talking to them.
And their eyes are focused on you as well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Not just these people who are playing, even the people who are behind, who are controlling, the camera guys who are covering the show, they know what's going to happen because I tell them before we are going to this. There's a lot of calculating and maths that happens. And sometimes I'll go, when a song is going like this, I'll say, drama, let's go to 4/4. And he like 4/4.
Yeah, I've got two musicians.
And sometimes feeling the mood of the audience, I have to change and say, okay, let's go to a vamp. Let's no longer go to the chorus because this is what the audience is doing behind me. But as I was saying, I'm also calling the sound person. Stand by, I'm going to have a guitar solo in that part. I'm going to have a sax solo in that part. That is the guy who's operating the sound now. So that when it gets to that, he knows that people have to hear the guitar. Because remember, the guitar can't always be loud when we're just playing here on the song. It has to be loud when it's doing a song. But he needs to know what's happening and when that is happening. Also talking to the lighting guy. Also talking to the graphic guy. So I'm directing and driving everything as I'm conducting.
As it is happening.
And it's very important that you think ahead.
So you're more like a driver. And I wanted to ask this, sorry to come in, Doctor. And how long will it take, the preparation itself, if you were to estimate? Going to the show, what time do you put?
When you're recording, it'll take I always need a minimum of 3 months to prepare to rock, because the first month is learning the songs, the second month is arranging and structuring the song, the last month is now drilling and perfecting, helping the lead singers, and the last week or so now, that's when the technical team comes in to actually understand. But once we've done that part and it's recorded, it helps when you again work with the same team for your shows, because at least they've done the show. So there it's like 4 weeks to 3 weeks preparing for that. But for me, I believe in prepare.
Definitely. Because we've got very strict time, and I don't want us to be disrespectful, because I really would want to ask that he comes back. There's a lot.
So you must come back.
But just there are a lot of questions.
I just did another interview. They were like, "No, this is part 1. We need part 2."
But it's Easter's and July 27 is coming, and I think, and then this is my opportunity to complain. I think it takes time to drop my because that one March. You wait and wait.
Patiently.
Yes. So. Well, what is just doing now? We've seen adverts, we've seen ecstasy and things like that.
Yes, you're definitely right. It takes time to drop precisely because I'm a perfectionist. I've been taking my time in studio on the mixing and the balancing to make sure that it comes out the way it will. But I'll tell you what, when I do something, I always know it because I want to invoke this. With this album, Joyous 27, I'm invoking a situation where when we perform, when we're having a show, it becomes a church service. Everyone will be singing along to each and every song. That's how I've crafted it. So hence the way I actually mix it. The voices are a bit higher than usual, than how I usually balance them. They're a bit higher because I want people to hear the voices. I want everyone, whether you're a singer or not, I want to, after the very, very first line, so you are able to join in and say Ngaphandle wakho. So I've done songs that are simple like that to sing, but a bit tricky on the arrangement, on the band side. So yes. So Joyous 27 is about that. Sing along, join us, even if it's a new song that you are hearing for the first time or that you've known before, created in a fresher kind of way.
So you are in for a revival, a church revival.
Awesome! That's the idea. That's the idea. I'm happy you can explain.
No, definitely be revived and then
Easter weekend we're in Devon. I always also love challenging. The music industry is changing a lot. So now everything is here, and the truth is there is not much money generated from the phones because everyone gets the music. So our music has taken a knock. Actually, we've dropped 80% from what you used to make. Wow. Let me make an example. Yes. On a CD, on a DVD, we'll make between 50 to 70 rand per each CD.
Yes.
Now, with this direction here, we get 1.07 cents. That's the average. That's how much the value of our music have dropped. So we need to improve things. We need to change things because we can't fight with this situation. So hence the shows, how we present them. That's where at least we will get to make a bit more than we actually.
The Joyous TV.
But the industry really has been affected. A lot of our brothers and sisters who have been living on selling music are really affected. But everything happens for a reason. It has happened before when we were moving from cassette to CDs. Again, a lot dropped, and we worked on it, and when it picked up again. So again, we'll get back. So we just have to consistent and keep staying. True. It's very important that what can be done is that we need to adjust and adopt the changes.
Yes.
We don't need to fight what is it.
We must embrace it.
So what it means is that content is key. Yes. So let's create more content, but also the content that you create, be able to present it live so that when people see it here, they really have that eager, they want to go and watch your live show. So that's some of the things that should be done. And also packaging differently. There are people who love collecting music. How do we create USBs and make them safe and not be copied? Because there's so much piracy with the digital space. Exactly. So, and mostly people who are here, they don't buy, they just want to listen, which really is affecting our. So let's not fight that change. Let's adopt that change. Let's work with it and say, how do we actually make it more, make people more who want to actually listen and check and watch and all those things. So content is king. Make content of everything that you are doing, but also perfect and master your live performances, your presentation, which is great for musicians because now we are going back to more live performances.
No, this is not just a doctor.
Dr. Mkhize, perfectionist.
Perfectionist, a music giant.
Amen.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Enkosi Khabazela ubuye man xa siphinde sicela siyacela
part 2 yafuneka and prepare yourselves so that there we just talk on the business.
Yes, definitely.
Because I always say that you don't only have to be a singer, you don't have to be a vocalist. As long as you like music, I believe there is a place for you within the music.
Yes. Amen to that.
We need administrators, we need business thinking people who will work with musicians. So musicians focus on
yes.
The mistake that is happening now, musicians are trying to be business people. That's why there's things fall down for them. But everyone, whether you're holding a camera, whether it's a light, every little thing that you do within the space, it's needed here. It's now time for us to work together as a team, as a unit, to grow our art, to grow our culture. It's a pity that our government doesn't understand that this is gold. Actually, our creativity in this country can turn things around, can turn our GDP,
the economy
of this country. Once they start respecting our culture, the economy of this country.
So the lawmakers, they
definitely change. And I'm telling you, outside countries are even ahead. I mean, in Africa, they're ahead of us. Kenya, Uganda, Ghana. When you go there, each and every day, like on a Wednesday, you want to watch or to go to a live performance.
Yes.
There's always a place where they have a live performance. South Africa on Wednesday, you have a visitor from outside of the country.
No,
where to? Imagine that visitor you are forced to watch TV because there is no place. So we need to work with our government to make them aware that now we're back to performing. Every space, every area, every restaurant, every lounge, every shisanyama, let there be live music. And you'll be surprised the talent the art, the creativity
The
that
ambience
is in
it
the
brings,
townships. Working with young guys who will create good content for that and putting it on the phone. Working together, we can bring back this country.
Tell us, this should be the Minister of Arts.
Ah.
The Minister.
Are you available? But raise your hand.
It's Good Friday today. I always say that we've been through a lot as a country. The past 2-3 years have been tough for us. Let's use this day as a day to revive, a day to restore, a day for rebirth, where He died for us, where He died not just for our sins, but for our souls, for us as people, to do an introspection and look at yourself and say, what do I have? What do I carry? How can I take that forth? How can I work with the brother next door who's got this talent, and then we work together to create something? Believe in yourself, know yourself, so that also Nathi will start looking at you and say, Lengwenya le yenshaya camera, Lengwenya bekuye no controller my lights, things happen. Lengwenya beyenza sound, it's crispy, it's clear. So whatever that you do, wherever in the space that you are, use a Good Friday with how do I start over and make sure that I perfect and I'm the top at what I do. This weekend, see at Durban, make sure that you are actually part of that. It's called the annual Easter Joyous Mega Fest. The Joyous Easter Mega Fest. It's happening at Durban at the ICC. Good Friday, it's we are presenting and introducing Joyous 27, which is an awesome album. You'll be hearing it for the first time. We'll be presenting it live to you. On the second day, on the 8th, oh wow, something interesting. Joyous meets soul and jazz, because we believe that gospel music can be presented in different ways. So we'll be presenting it in a soulful way, in a jazzful way. Now, it's a supper club, meaning you sit down, enjoy a 3-course meal, dinner on your table, while we are indulging on your mouth, we are also indulging on our ear. It's something new, something fresh, something different, but we believe there's actually a market for that. That is on the 8th, the Gospel Supper Club. And then on the 9th, we are inviting some of our Joyous friends, Joyous Celebration and friends, all the friends who we've worked with before, and some friends who are singing gospel music, to say, let's share this platform, let's share the stage, let's be together, let's celebrate. Uvukile!